As many people struggle to stretch their paycheck during this pandemic, many turn to music for entertainment. So, is the music industry turning a profit? It's Tuesday, it's August 25th, and this is the current music news. I'm Jade.
I'm Jay. We know who's struggling in this pandemic economy. It is workers, especially those whose livelihoods depend on people gathering in public places. That includes musicians, but also includes music industry professionals like studio owners and, of course, music venues. At the same time, it's becoming clear that some businesses are booming during lockdown. At the top of the list, America's tech giants.
Last week, Apple became the first U.S. company to ever reach $2 trillion. Yep, you heard that right, $2 trillion in market value. And half of that was built during the coronavirus pandemic. So, of course, the company doesn't want to gloat about the fact that they're making money during a pandemic. So they said, we would have made that money anyways. But when you really think about it, with everybody hunkering down at home, using their personal devices for both work and entertainment, it's not surprising that companies like Apple and Amazon and Google and Microsoft are benefiting.
So how much of that money is being spent on music? A lot. Whose pockets is it going into? Tech investors. We've talked before about how streaming revenue is up. Spotify picked up 8 million new users in the second quarter of 2020 and saw its stock soar 70%. That does mean more payouts overall to artists, but except for the pop stars with the really huge hits, Spotify just isn't paying many musicians cash worth flashing. George Howard is a professor of music business at Berklee College of Music, and he calls Spotify, quote, a legalized version of Napster. In other words, artists are basically giving their music away for free or nearly free, and then trying to make money on merch sales and concert tickets.
Now, here's the irony. There actually is a legalized version of Napster, and it's called Napster. Napster today is a paid streaming service that actually leads the industry in per-play payouts. So right now, artists make almost about 5 times as much on Napster for a play on, streaming play than they would on Spotify. And to give you, though, just an idea of how little streaming actually pays, so even in regards to Napster, which again is the best paying play per stream service, the Digital Music News did some math and figured out that if you want to make minimum wage on Napster, you have to get your songs to be played 2,500 times per day. And if you want to make that on Spotify, think 10,000 streams a day.
So, artists are hurting. Tech companies are booming. How are labels doing? Well, it depends. All in all, not great. Sony Music, for example, has seen a 13% revenue drop. They are making more money from streaming, but a major label like that also usually is making money from artists touring and merch revenue, plus from song placements in TV shows and movies that currently have their productions shut down. On the other hand, though, K-pop label Big Hit, which is home to artists including BTS, has seen a big boost in its revenue. How are they doing it? Selling tickets to live stream concerts.
So circling back to Apple, their name was once again in the headlines last week because they're renaming their online radio station. They're no longer Beats One Radio. Now they are Apple Music One. So no, don't worry. Zane Lowe is still there. He's still got a job. In fact, the DJ whose job title is Apple Music Global Creative Director, which is quite the mouthful, he's going to be working on 2 new radio stations. One that's going to be pop hits, and the other one's going to be a country music station. And basically, Apple's really invested in this idea of these curated, hand-picked songs, and they said that it's going to stand out in a world of algorithms. And you know what? I agree.
Well, that's today's music news. We'll keep following all these stories, so like and follow us for more updates. We've also been hopping on Instagram Live every week to talk about stories happening in the music news. So jump in the comments right now and let us know what stories you want to hear us talk about.
And speaking of that hand-curated radio that we do here at The Current, we have been loving the new Bully album, and so we thought we would leave you with a clip from one of our most recent virtual sessions with Alicia, the lead singer of Bully. Check it out right now.